everybody, Gareth at Skewed and Reviewed here. We have not done one of these for a long time. I just thought I'd check in. We've got, so much going on. We got the new magazine. The March issue is going off to the publishers tonight. We've got a really nice cover story on the new Doom game included, as well as the summer movie preview. A lot of other great stuff. We'll have a lot of information on that up soon. Thought it would be nice to do a little retro. I was looking at it. We're coming up on 6 years next month since we opened our Arizona office. And that, of course, is to go with our long-standing one up in Seattle. As I mentioned, we have Phoenix Comic-Con coming up. And I thought about back in the day when we were setting up the office here, and I had done a couple of these video cam reports. In a sense, we've done a lot of movement to radio and, continuing what we did in Seattle before we moved down here, as well as doing some skewed casting and that sort of thing. But anybody that's been following for a while knows that we used to do the old video cam thing back in the day where we'd set the video camera up on the tripod and we'd go over some things. And of course, we had the TV show for a while too before we moved. And a lot of people have been asking about bringing that back. We've been kicking it around. The main thing is the time. Now that we've expanded to 6 newspapers to go with the radio show, the magazine, the websites. We're working on a new website project now, so want to make sure we do it right, but at the same time don't have to sacrifice some other things in order to do it. That being said, we're going to discuss a new and upcoming video game. It's called Moving Hazard. It is in early access right now on Steam, and this is a zombie shooter. Now, of course, there is a campaign mode. We're not going into that right now because, simply put, I haven't played that. I've only played the multiplayer portion, which is available in the early access game. So this is what we're looking at here. You have 2 teams, and they both fight with each other, as well as legions of undead zombies to take over vital resources. You have everything from taking over, like capture the flag or hard point, that sort of thing. And one of the great things about it is your weaponry can run dry, so the only way you get that back is taking out an enemy player or finding an ammo reload, and that's a lot of fun. It's default stuff right now. You get your pistol, you get your assault rifle, and you get a knife for melee, which is really helpful, especially with the legions of undead that are around. Now, one of the great things is that you can lob these special grenades into enemy swarms that will weaponize the zombies and make them essentially your zombies for a limited time, where they will go out and attack other players, not on your team, of course. That would really be bad. But game shows a lot of potential. Some of the graphics are a bit dated, but remember, it's still early access. They are going to be cleaning these up as they go along. Hit detection can be sporadic. I had one where I was standing literally right next to it, pulled back, shot it in the head. Nothing happened. I had to kind of circle around back, aim again, and fire. And at the same time, we've also had shots where I do a iron sight right down the line, across the map, headshot someone, one shot, take it out. You do see some zombies that are, moving along, and then others that are just standing there like this, don't really seem to be doing too much, so that has to get sorted out. And, my biggest gripe is that sometimes some of the movement's a little off, like animation. Get the M16, load in the clip, ready to fire, and then all of a sudden it pulls out the clip, loads it again, and goes like that. Running speeds change. You're moving along in a good clip, and all of a sudden you're at a crawl, then moving along again. So it's kind of a case of that you have to adjust to the gameplay that is being presented to you, rather than going in saying, oh, it's going to move like Call of Duty, it's going to move like Star Wars Battlefront or Battlefield, or it's going to move like, any of the classic shooters, Wolfenstein, anything at all out there, not the case. But you also have to remember, this is a more in-house, I guess a smaller budgeted game. It's not a $150 million mega opus from one of the top-of-the-line publishers. What you're getting is a game that allows it to be more ambitious, a little different than things that you see. There does appear to be various unlocks, because we get things like a mixture of tear gas. It basically blocked out the vision and made combat a little different. We have some gameplay video online that you can check out. And so for now, it's an interesting game. I would say, obviously, in its current state, I couldn't say, oh, go out and get this thing. But remember, early access. That's the key. They've got some polish to do on it. And we, of course, don't review work in progresses, so, it's a preview. We're going to wait till the full game comes out and then judge it accordingly. Other things you want to keep an eye out on is obviously the Division is doing quite well, and Ubisoft, I think, should really be praised for not rushing the game to market. There were a lot of people that said, oh, we won it last year, and when it was delayed, oh boy, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. And the fact of the matter is, they could have easily put the game out and said, okay, the Dark Zone is DLC, and this isn't going to be available until later, and this isn't. They waited until the game was pretty much to where they wanted it, stable and done, and launched it. And that's a rare thing in this day and age. Ironically, we also have an article about that on the website as well. We've got a bunch of interviews coming up. We just put up an interview with Hugh Scott from Deadpool. We have one for Phoenix Comic Con, and we have a special one for Forza coming up in the not-too-distant future, as well as some other special things. We have Game Developers Conference going on right now, GDC, and we have our own Elvin de Guzman covering for it. We also will have Elvin at Silicon Valley Comic Con, and we have people that will be up at Emerald City Comic Con, and people going to PAX East. I, of course, will be covering with Genevieve Phoenix Comic Con. I have my two panels there, movies of 2017 to 2019, and our very popular upcoming games panel. As anyone knows, they usually are well over capacity. They turn people away, which is kind of a sad thing, but, safety reasons. When people are lining up around the aisles and blocking the exits and in the doorway, Fire Marshal doesn't like that. So we will, of course, be recording the segments again for use, for those who can't make it. After that, we'll be going to E3, we'll be going to San Diego Comic-Con, and of course, we will also be going up to PAX Prime, and looking forward to a lot of stuff that is coming up there. We'll have some stuff from the sites that we'll be consolidating. One of the things we're going to be trying is some periscoping at the shows, and we already have some really interesting things that are in the work that can't quite talk about yet. I've had a couple emails today from people wanting to do pre-show interviews and special things. One of them we were allowed to put up today, and that was San Diego Comic-Con International is going to be working with Lionsgate to create their own streaming on demand channel with scripted and unscripted content. So yay, looking forward to that. Looking forward to the Star Wars, EA Star Wars Battlefront content, the first DLC, which will be out next month, and we're not too far away from getting the brand new first content for Fallout 4. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. So a lot of good stuff coming out now, and we'll have our Skewedcast at the end of the month. We have some special guests coming up with that. Until then, this is Gareth at Skewed and Reviewed, and talk to you later.